Battle Through the Heavens. Grand World. Chapter 285 The Mu Siblings. The moment the 6 spears were shattered, Bai Yongzhao's expression darkened slightly. His body couldn't help but sway. Clearly, he had suffered some serious injuries. They're actually evenly matched. Some of the onlookers naturally didn't have Lu Xiangyang's experience. When they saw that Xiaoyan and Bai Yongzhao had suffered different degrees of injuries, exclamations of surprise immediately erupted. The Saint rank trial participant was actually so powerful. It had just entered the academy, and it was already able to fight head-on with the experts from the famous Soaring Dragon ranking for a long time without being defeated. You are indeed very strong. After recovering, Bai Yongzhao raised his head and looked at Xiaoyan. His deeply sunken eye sockets shone with a strange light. Although he had used up a large amount of Origin Monic Ki, the fact that Xiaoyan was able to withstand his attack was enough to show the latter's strength. Your strength has yet to be fully unleashed. Xiaoyan loosened his fists and allowed the blood to flow out freely. He stared at Bai Yongzhao and said in a deep voice. Bai Yongzhao pursed his lips and did not say anything. He looked at Kai Lin and Zuna behind Xiaoyan with a complicated look. He let out a long breath and looked at Xiaoyan like a knife. He said coldly, "When the day of the inner courtyard competition comes, I will naturally display my true strength. At that time, I will know who is stronger and who is weaker." After saying that, Bai Yongzhao turned around and left without any hesitation. Not far behind him, a few of his subordinates who followed him saw this. They also hurriedly followed him and left in a hurry. Seeing Bai Yongzhao leave, Xiaoyan became even more certain of the guesses in his heart. It was likely that the former had also sensed it. With his current strength, he would most likely lose if he fought with him. 1 month later. All right. Xiaoyan's lips curled up when he thought of this. Being in such a majestic place like the Origin Monic Ki, the hot blood in his body could not help but boil. He even began to look forward to the competition in a month's time. Turning his gaze, Xiaoyan looked at Lu Xiangyang, who was standing in front of the crowd. Immediately, he said in a clear voice, "Senior Lu specially came here because he wants to fight Xiaoyan." Hearing Xiaoyan's words, the people who were still shocked by Bai Yongzhao's sudden departure immediately turned their eyes to Lu Xiangyang. The latter had a calm expression, but the scar on his face was indescribably ferocious. Lu Xiangyang's facial expression didn't change at all after being stared at by everyone. He only smiled and said, "Junior Xiaoyan, you are worrying too much. As the leader of Punishment Department, I am protecting the safety of the academy. Naturally, I can't act so casually because of personal matters." After a pause, the corners of Lu Xiangyang's mouth suddenly curved into a sinister smile as he slowly said, "The Academy's competition in a month's time will attract a lot of attention. At that time, Junior will have to perform well. If you die there, no one will take revenge for you." As he spoke, Lu Xiangyang looked at Zuna and Kai Lin, smiled lightly at the 2 girls, and then left emotionally. Xiaoyan did not speak when he heard this. His eyes narrowed slightly, and his gaze flickered slightly. Even he was unable to see through Lu Xiangyang's strength. It was likely that he had reached a frightening level. Adding the former's identity, it was likely that there were very few people in the inner academy who were qualified to fight with him. Even Bai Yongzhao would still be reprimanded by him. The surrounding crowd also scattered in 2s and 3s after seeing Lu Xiangyang leave. They continued to discuss the fight today. Although it was only a few rounds, the intensity of the fight was not inferior to the fight between the experts on the Soaring Dragon ranking. Bai Yongzhao's departure also caused the crowd to have a few more conversations after tea. Xiaoyan, who was ready for the battle, had no choice but to stop. He watched Lu Xiangyang leave with his eyes. For some reason, his heart felt a little heavy. He might have underestimated these experts on the Soaring Dragon ranking. He wanted to display the prestige of the Saint rank trial participant in the competition 1 month later. He was afraid that his current strength wasn't enough. "I can fight Bai Yongzhao to a draw. With this kind of strength, I'm afraid I won't be able to come from the forest domain. At the peak of the mountain far away, a few elders were looking at this place through the layers of clouds. They were the inner court elders led by Elder Shao. Elder Tian is right. Without a trump card, it is absolutely impossible to come here from the forest domain. However, Xiaoyan should be able to tell that Bai Yongzhao has yet to fully display his strength. Elder Shao nodded slightly when he heard this. His eyes were filled with wisdom and cunning. I'm quite curious. That bead was clearly broken, so why would Xiaoyan come here? What did he do? A tall and straight middle-aged man said with a solemn expression. The middle-aged man was dressed in a green robe, carrying a bit of scholarly aura, looking more like a weak scholar. Elder Su, the great elder has said that you are not allowed to inquire about Xiaoyan's experiences. If you push him too hard, it might backfire. This saint rank trial participant is too important to our academy. Elder Shao frowned and looked at the middle-aged man in green robe. The latter was of the same grade as him, and they were both second-grade elders. If there was a conflict between them and Xiaoyan, then who should they side with? This would give the academy a headache. Elder Su's face was expressionless. He nodded and said, Elder Shao, don't worry. I naturally know what to do. However, to be honest, the academy also values this matter very much. Elder Su cast a glance at Elder Shao with an indifferent gaze. He suddenly smiled and said, I heard from Elder Zhu from the Elixir Association that Xiaoyan's soul has already reached the alien realm. I should be able to imagine that the rupture of the pearl is closely related to the changes in his soul power. After saying that, Elder Su smiled. His body moved, and he soared into the sky, leaving this place. Elder Shao looked in the direction where Elder Su had left and helplessly sighed. Elder Su was the youngest and most talented second-grade elder. He had received the favor of the great elder and the headmaster. Moreover, his character was quite strange. It was unknown what he would do. Husband Xiao Yan, that Bai Yongzhao. Zuna feels that he has yet to display his true strength. In the heavenly peak, Xiaoyan and the other two were sitting on the stone bench in front of the courtyard. Zuna looked at Xiaoyan with a serious expression. In the previous battle, although Bai Yongzhao was aggressive and overbearing, she felt that his true strength was far more than what he had shown today. Kai Lin also looked at Xiaoyan when she heard this. Clearly, she had also sensed it. Xiaoyan mused for a moment before nodding his head. He naturally felt the deepest feeling when he fought with Bai Yongzhao. Although the final, 6 sky-splitting spear, was powerful, the origin monic key contained within it was not as powerful as an emperor-level expert, much less an expert ranked on the Soaring Dragon ranking. Zuna, Kai Lin, I think I need to enter the spirit origin formation and cultivate properly these few days. I have a feeling that if I don't improve during this period of time, I will be under a lot of pressure when I reach the inner courtyard competition. Xiaoyan pondered for a moment and said slowly with a solemn expression. Today, Bai Yongzhao was only ranked 5th on the Soaring Dragon ranking. If he attacked with all his strength, if he wanted to win, the Blue Flame Ruler and the Monic Flame would be his biggest trump cards. He would need to use at least one of his trump cards. As for Lu Xiangyang, it gave him an even stronger feeling, as well as the first place in the Soaring Dragon ranking. Second place. None of them were easy to deal with. Zuna and Kai Lin looked at each other. They nodded silently. They naturally understood Xiaoyan's thoughts. As wives, there was no reason to stop him. Husband Xiaoyan, the person ranked first in the Soaring Dragon ranking is a girl, and she's also a great beauty. Zuna suddenly smiled and revealed her beautiful face. She is Mahuyang's younger sister, Mahiyu. She is very strong. Husband Xiaoyan, when the time comes, do not lose to her. After hearing Zuna's words, Xiaoyan was slightly stunned. Then, he smiled bitterly. Mahuyang was the first in Realm in Valley. Her sister was the number 1 Soaring Dragon ranking. The strength of these two siblings was really terrifying. I heard that Mahiyu has the strength to become a student of Realm in Valley. She is just waiting for the competition next year. Husband Xiaoyan, you have met a worthy opponent. Zuna giggled. Kai Lin, who was beside, saw Xiaoyan's shocked expression and could not help but laugh. Her cold and elegant expression suddenly had an extraordinary beauty. Mahiyu, Mahuyang, Xiaoyan whispered softly and then laughed bitterly. Now it seemed that the burden on his body was really a lot heavier. Chapter end. Please guys like, comment, share, and subscribe.